Hey everybody, we're live. Let me just do one quick thing here and see if I can log in and tweet. And that's going to take too long. Okay, never mind. So,
Happy
welcome
Valentine's Day,
to
everybody.
Valentine's Day Eve and Dave and Brian Live. So, got a whole bunch of things here on my topic list. One of them is just a heads up. I'm going to be scaling back a lot on how much I show about future projects for Universal and talking about things that are not confirmed. So I've always kind of been very cautious about not talking about rumors, but need to watch what I say a little bit more. So hey Duchess, great to
Yeah.
see you. It's been a little while.
Hey, Duchess, how's it going for you?
So won't be a major change. I can still go to the parks, and I need to go back and show Mardi Gras, all the tents and things like that. I just haven't really had time to. If you saw, oh hey, phenomenal, as I trip over my words. let me get a completely ordinary, easy to say word wrong. Phenomenal, perfect, right? Yeah. So okay, so yeah, I need to go and shoot. Now, if you saw on my Orlando channel, I had already live streamed the first Mardi Gras, which included the whole parade, which surprisingly does not incur a content ID claim, which is good because it includes the full version of all the songs.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've been to Mardi Gras, we'll get to the park stuff in a little bit. It's the same playlist they have every year.
Which
So
I don't mind. I really don't. I thought by now I might be kind of sick of that playlist, but
you don't work Mardi Gras.
that's true. That is true.
It's over. It's however many days. It's almost 50 days of hearing that playlist the entire parade.
Yeah.
Sometimes 7 days a week. It's good music. It's just like the in park music changes. So like, why not the parade music? But now there's a little bit of a schedule conflict coming up in March, and that is both Wednesdays. If you go every other week, both Wednesdays I have things that I need to do, work, and something else I will get to in a little bit in theme park announcements. I hope we don't hear them growling over there. So the March 6th. Oh, so I'm not sure what we want to do about that. Maybe skip right now. The 27th of February is when the next live show is scheduled, or would normally occur. Now I might switch that up and wait 3 weeks till the next show, and have it March 6th and March 20th. Although something just came up for the 6th, which is something that an employee thing that we get to do. So maybe we'll do it early on the 6th. I don't know, but let us know. I know consistency is very important here on YouTube, but if that's not a big deal, I need to work on the second Wednesday of March, and then something else is coming up on the final Wednesday of March, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Don't want to jump ahead too much. So either in the chat or a comment later, let me know how you feel about that. So let's go into the Tool album update.
Tool.
All right. Nothing, right?
There's a couple things, but it's not new.
All right. Well, first, thanks to now I'm screwing it because I screwed it up. Now, thanks to Phenomenal Brandy for sending me this earlier. This is from somebody called Manur J. Kayitan.
Good job, Dave.
So Stella, some random guy who runs a forum about Megadeth and talks about Enter Sandman all the time. I don't know. Some person that has no idea what the band's really doing, right?
Why would the guy who runs the Megadeth forum talk about Enter Sandman?
Because it's their favorite. It's their like most popular song. But Brian knows a little bit about that person first he probably can say his name right. So let's try that. Oh, also, before we go any further, Brian, if you noticed, is this last time I was feeling under the weather. Now Brian is under the weather.
Yeah.
Brian is coughing, and I have coffee. So
I had the sniffles, and then I was sneezing, and now I've got the cough.
yeah.
So that's where I am.
So from go ahead, say his name.
All right, so it's Maynard James Keenan, lead singer of Tool and Perfect Circle, and Pussifer, and what is the other one?
I don't know, but basically it says midway through mixing, most likely it'd be a few recalls, then some arguing, then mastering, artwork, video, special packaging. Best ballpark guess will be somewhere between May and July 2028, maybe 2050. So closer than we thought.
Mm-hmm. There was also a very recent video by a channel called Loudwire. And if you don't know who Loudwire is, they do this really, really cool series called Wikipedia Fact or Fiction, where they get actual members of metal bands and rock bands, and they sit down with them and they ask them about things on their Wikipedia pages and get the truth right from the source.
There's a dog out there and she's freaking out.
Yeah. So it's been about 13 years and 4,500 some odd days since 10,000 Days came out.
So we're halfway there. Oops.
Yeah.
Knocking things over.
And Loudwire recounted basically what has happened, why it's been so long, why we've had 3 different presidents since this last album came out. There was a lawsuit at one point. They had to deal with that. And basically the writing process for the band is the drums, guitar, and bass all kind of come up with their stuff. And when it's finalized, that's when Maynard puts his vocals to what they have done. Because he listens to the finished tracks and then sings to that.
Which is interesting because a lot of bands, would record all at once, or
so some bands do that. Some bands, like Nirvana, did that.
Yeah,
they recorded live in the studio.
Maybe they would record one thing at a time, but in one session.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the bands will record all at the same time, but separated as far as like the drums are in a separate room, and then to prevent what they call bleeding. Basically, drums are so loud that they will record on every other microphone in the room, and if they want to isolate the guitar is plugged directly into the board, but if they want to isolate any other microphones in the room, they can't because the drums are just so loud.
Yeah.
But some bands will record one instrument at a time, and then unfortunately, I believe that's what happened to Snot. They recorded the music, and then the vocalist was going to go in and record his vocals, and unfortunately, that never ended up happening.
Yeah. So what tends to happen is Maynard waits around, and he'll put lyrics and melody to the finished track, and sometimes things will have changed by the time he's actually ready, and the band has done something else and changed the song entirely. And
doesn't sound efficient, but I mean it works because they make great music.
Oh sure, and it's obviously not efficient because it's been 13 years since we've had an album. So
yeah. But they haven't been working on it all those 13 years, so...
Yeah, well, I mean, in that time, Maynard's he's written a book. He has a wine farm. Yeah. That's what happens when you become a rock star and you get some money. You're like, well, what can I do with all this money? Well, how about I make a winery? Okay, sure.
And I'm sure Perfect Circle's come out with albums.
Yeah, there's been several Perfect Circle albums. Maynard has a side project called Pussifer. He's done several albums with that.
Even though Perfect Circle is a side project, it's a side project to a side project?
Yeah. A lot of musicians do that. Devin Townsend has 14 bands that he's ever been in. Some of them were one album deals, but yeah. Um, Gino Me sounds. Now music producers sometimes don't enter the same room; they just send each other files. Yeah, that happens
Hmm.
too. That's technology for you.
Yeah, that's there's a DVD I bought a while back. I highly recommend it if you're a fan of Pink Floyd. It's the making of Dark Side of the Moon.
Hmm.
There's also one for Nevermind from Nirvana. It's really, really amazing. And they talked about how back in the time that Dark Side of the Moon had started, that was being recorded, that nobody was doing sampling yet. It wasn't a thing yet because they were still using tape and analog.
Yeah.
But the Dark Side of the Moon really basically was sampling. You had all the different recordings that were played back on a tape in the studio with the whole band there, and everything was all hand signals, and everything had to be live, with the exception of the recordings of the coins and stuff like that. That was just the beginning of that process, but it was a performance.
Mm-hmm.
It was like going on stage. It didn't have an audience, but now with automation, it's something that we kind of lost.
Yeah.
Maybe in some cases or most cases, it's ultimately not that big of a deal, but it's definitely something has changed a lot. They changed the industry.
To give an example, On the Run, the way we are familiar with the song On the Run by Pink Floyd is it's very fast. There's that laughter. There's like a plane going over.
Yeah.
That's not the way they recorded that song. They recorded a.
It was when they were practicing because
Yeah.
there wasn't bootlegging back in the day.
Yeah.
So they would work on a song as a band at concerts, and they would work on it a little bit more, and then of course people started bringing audio recorders and and then the internet.
Yeah.
But the song they were playing around with the new piece of the technology, and they're like, "Ooh, this sounds interesting," and they just completely rewrote the song to something completely different. But that's also on the DVD if you want to hear what the song originally sounded like. There's a little clip of it.
David Gilmour talks about it, it's like, when you hear this song in headphones and it's just this experience for you. I never had that. The song is completely different to me.
So now moving on to the channel of Rottiepawz. When I mentioned this before, when I first opened the account, it was a YouTube account, which, maybe you think, oh, well, that's not that big of a deal. I mean, I have a YouTube account. A lot of people have a YouTube account. You don't understand. It was a YouTube account. Google didn't own it.
Mm-hmm.
That happened later. That's how long I've had this account. Google didn't own it yet. You did not have to have a Gmail address. I think Gmail had started, but so it's been a long time and there's been a lot of policy changes. So that's why it's kind of a bummer that only this year I hit 1,000 subscribers on here. But I started it because we are fans of Kevin Smith, and he had his Clerks 2 movie had come out, and they were working on a DVD. And one of the songs, there was a contest to make a music video for the song Think Fast. I can't remember who the band is. So the video you made, there's a contest to make a music video that went along with that song, and I think they provided you a little bit of video you can put in, or no, you can download the trailer. I think anything that was in the trailer, you're fine to put in the song, because obviously the movie hadn't been out on DVD, so you couldn't put that parts in unless you legally recorded it. But they said you're safe to put in parts of the trailer if you want, and then everything else has to be original, and then you add the song and they give you the link to download. And the rules were you have to post the final video on YouTube. And I'm like, YouTube. That's the thing I see every once in a while on MySpace.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't know what it was. So I started this channel because I needed to get an account so that I can upload the music video and enter the contest. That's actually how I met Mike, who you might have seen recently in a video for Richter Burgers. And we, I found out about the contest like maybe 48 hours before it ended. It had been going on for like a week or two, maybe. I didn't know about it until right near the end. Mm-hmm. So threw something together quickly, but I just picked this name just because that was all it was going to be. Yeah. And
we never won the contest, but no. Entering, we got a copy of the soundtrack, which was
on
cool.
a CD, which is cool. So here it is over 10 years later, and I'm still using the name, and now it has no relevance to really anything on the platform. So when I was speaking with some media rep recently, I was like, "Oh, we also do our Dave and Brian Live." No, I can't say Brian. Must be word names with B, I guess. I don't know. Dave and Brian Live on this channel is like, "Oh, Rottiepawz." I'm like, yeah, that's the name of it. But one of the things that has changed is when YouTube first started, you can pick whatever channel name you wanted, and it didn't matter if you just opened your account 5 minutes ago. You can put your custom name in, a custom URL and all that, and it changed recently. So interesting thing is when I was like, well, this is my channel name, so that's going to be my URL. So it's youtube.com/Rottiepawz.
I think it was also before they had several million people on YouTube. Yeah. So, well, think about like what is the highest subscribed channel is, I think, at 80 million. So that means there's 80 million unique different accounts on YouTube alone.
I'm sure more than that. But yeah. But now they've changed it so you have to have a certain number of subscribers and things. The interesting thing is because I now still qualify for the new rules, and when I first signed up for it, it's like, are you sure you want to pick this name? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? You can't do it anymore. I actually, from what I see, it looks like that it says you are eligible for a custom URL. I believe I can change the custom URL one more time because of the new rules, and it's only 100 subscribers you need to change your name. It's not that many.
Yeah.
But what I want to do is come up with, it's going to be a little risky to rename a channel that's been around since 2006, but I want to come up with a better name that's more descriptive, and it just works better. And so that's what I'd like to do is rename the channel and maybe try to focus it. I was kind of resistant at first, but I think I see I would like to focus a little bit more. So the main videos, when I'm going through the videos on this channel, the main videos are reviews, how to do it yourself, actually usable life hacks, and this live show. Mm-hmm. Those are the main videos. I have other things that are on there right now that can go away. They're not that many. Older stuff like Halloween Horror Nights walkthroughs, which I don't do anymore. There's some walkthroughs of Hollow Scream as well, and a little bit of video game stuff. Not that much. Now, what I don't want to delete is the Miracle Grout pen, although I'm thinking about moving more towards focusing on reviews, so that wouldn't be something I'd remove anyway. My child-resistant lock bottle cap video, which would fall under do-it-yourself. Mm-hmm. The Ghostbusters arcade game, which doesn't fall under the categories I just mentioned, but a few years later, it gets views consistently, and it does quite well, and it brings in revenue, which is great for new microphones, paint, things like that. Mm-hmm. It might not fit into that theming, but but it's like I said, it's something it's way too popular. Also, a few haunted house walkthroughs are still doing pretty well. Gnome
Well, the
said
name is
that.
Genome, but it's Genome.
Oh, Gnome.
Yeah, I think that's how to pronounce it. I understand if I'm pronouncing it wrong that it's Genome, but
Yeah.
the way you have those dashes, it says Genome. So
Um,
Genome, dog.
I I mean, maybe I haven't actually tried to change it. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. Maybe they're giving me that notification that that I qualify, and then I like go through the process and like, oh no, you already done it. But from what I'm seeing right now, it looks like I might be able to. I hope that's correct. But even if I can't change the custom URL, which would be a bummer, I can still change the name and the theming.
Yeah.
So, other videos than that could be deleted. I'm probably going to make a standalone video on this, on maybe both channels, or at least this channel, because unfortunately the live chat, I haven't been able to improve it more to make it more popular and have a higher view count. But so that's basically what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is a new direction, a little more refined. I kind of like, in the past I've had this, like, whatever videos that I might think might be cool, just throw it up there, and the majority, around 98% of the people who watch my videos are not subscribers. So it's kind of worked, but at the same time, I like I said, I struggled to get 1,000 subscribers on this channel, and there's a lot more review videos that I'm ready to do, that I want to refine my my technique and basically how the process of how I do it. But it's going to probably come the time where pretty soon where I just have to just do it, which is what I've heard before is done is better than perfect. But at the same time, it's like
Not always. Done is not always better than perfect, but
the idea is like, if you sit and refine, re-edit and worried about how good it is going to be, and it never gets done, then it could be perfect, but nobody will ever see it.
Now, there was also, going back to music, some of the most iconic songs that we've ever heard were written within 10 minutes, and it was just a band having fun, like so the guitar player just did a riff. Hey, what's that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
or Ferris Bueller's Day Off was supposedly written in like less than a week.
Yeah.
And that's a classic.
Yeah. Now, apparently, the song Bohemian Rhapsody took several hours to make.
Dave's Days.
Yeah, so for now, Brandy was coming up with some ideas. Maybe Dave does, kind of like Dave and Brian trying.
Yeah, that might be cool.
Or Dave's Days.
For a moment, I was like, I can make it like OD2, like MTV2, but like that doesn't really work. It's just something, one of those things that you think about, and like as soon as you say it, like, no.
Oh, by the way, hi Ozzy. Is that the Ozzy that was with us in Universal?
Oh, hey, I did. Sorry, Oz, I didn't even see you.
So is it?
Yeah.
Oh, hi Ozzy. Hey, how's it going?
I was too busy reading my notes.
And then there's Dave's Days, spelled with a Z.
10,000 days. The channel that'll never happen. So now we've gotten to the part of the video where we talk about park announcements.
Hooray!
So once again, Legoland is coming out with a lot of announcements lately, which is great, because being how far away it is and relatively small, it's nice to see that they're coming out with a lot of new stuff, expansions and refining what they have, because we've said it many times before. It says Legoland is built for kids, and which it is. The rides are small enough for children to enjoy, but you don't have to be a kid. You can be it's very family friendly, or you could just go as an adult and really enjoy it. So we really like to see this place succeed, and of course it has the second largest corporation in the world as far as theme parks behind Disney behind it, so it's not like a mom and pop either. But so I hope you enjoy us maybe kind of reading not reading the press releases, but just talking about it. Just things that don't really fit into a Roland Dave video, but are kind of related. So one of the things that I was referring to before is that the Lego Movie World opens on March 27th, which is a Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I will be there the day before to shoot some video for Roland Dave and putting it up for their media event, which will be pretty cool. So you guys get a little sneak preview. I'm working on editing a video. I actually got a little bit of access to look around the land and see the progress. Most of it was construction, so I wasn't able to shoot it, but I did have a media rep with me, so the little bit I shot was approved, so I don't have to worry about that. And just really briefly, some things that I like to talk about. I really like renewable energy and solar power and stuff like that. And they have several projects that I've shown you on Orlando a few times before for what they are doing with solar. But what I didn't know is that boating school that you I talked to you about before that we hadn't tried. I just tried it on Monday. That is solar powered. So during the day they charge up the boats using solar power, and that Ford driving school obviously during the day because it's solar, they are recharging their cars using solar power as well. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So green is universal, but it also works in other places.
Also, when you get to Legoland, the parking lot is covered, and the tops of those roofs are all solar panels.
That's part of a project with some utility company from Tampa. So that is a 2 megawatt solar canopy, and then in the park there are also other solar panels, including 30 kilowatt in the Imagination Zone. Mm-hmm. That provides power for the local community as well as Legoland, which is pretty cool.
Now, I just want to say, like, I'm a fan of Universal, but I'm not, like, hardcore, like, Universal and then that's it. Like, I'm a fan of theme parks in general. I grew up, thankfully,
Just being able to skip any comments.
Thankfully, being able to enjoy theme parks most of my life. Like, I went to Busch Gardens in Williamsburg, Virginia. I went to King's Dominion in, I think it's Richmond, Virginia. I went to Water Country USA in, I think also Williamsburg or near Williamsburg, Virginia. I've been to Busch Gardens, Tampa. I've been to Universal Orlando. Been to Disney World. I think I've been to Disneyland way back, like when I was a small kid. And I've been to Legoland, Florida. So it's not like, I know, like, like apples and oranges, like, you got your favorite, but
yeah,
I don't like seeing, like, theme parks fail. And when I went to Legoland, I was a little worried because, like, I was like, where is everybody?
Yeah.
Because, like,
which I kind of figured because first time I looked at it on Google Maps, I'm like, wow, that's way out there.
Yeah. They even do a location joke where the pirate show, far away from everything else, but very close to right here. Yeah. And, but I'm glad that Legoland's doing well enough that they're able to add new attractions and plan for new things.
And a new hotel. It's coming in 2020, which they have already started broken ground and actually are already building, which I was surprised to see it happen so quickly. So, and I know that Disney also has solar panels, which is pretty neat. So it's not just that, but it's just nice to see.
Yeah.
Disney could do more. I know it's solar is still very expensive, but they have those massive parking lots that they could cover some of that. And the better part would be to use some of that solar power for electric vehicle charging, which I know electric vehicle adoption is still kind of low, but yes, the park announcements is in fact to tell you where you parked. Row 6, aisle 3. So that's where you parked, Ozzy. And it said that The solar farms are huge and nice to look at. They are.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that there are as many of the wind turbines in Florida. Maybe it's because of tourism. I don't know. Some people don't like how they look. Uh, We definitely get plenty of wind in Florida. It might not be enough though. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know that there was some talk about having offshore wind farms. Um, I, I just think I know what they mean by wind farms, but it sounds like the place where they grow wind.
Grow wind.
Yeah. Uh, like what time of the year is wind harvesting season? I don't know.
Yeah.
Must be summer. It's usually windy in summer.
So Genome has a idea for you that you should look into adding a Streamlabs donation to display messages on screen. Kind of like Twitch streams. Apparently, YouTube's membership button for live streams is a bit steep.
It is. I think it's like 10,000 or something crazy thing like that. Now, what you could do right now, if you would like, is the problem is, Stella, don't get into trouble. The problem is that the chat, as you can see, doesn't move like crazy fast like sometimes it can. But there is the option for super chat here, which is a way you can donate through messages. That's for like larger channels that have like crazy chats where you can't keep up.
Well, also those crazy channels have like a lot of spamming going on.
Yeah,
it's just people like posting like goofy faces and all that, and
yeah.
But yeah, so you can use the super chat if you like. Why don't you?
Stella, you're just gonna have to wait. But I just don't understand how birds get caught up, because those wind turbines, they don't move that fast. They're big, but they don't move that fast.
Well,
even when there's a lot of wind.
Gene, I'm saying they circle closer and closer, and then...
Well, they should.
Yeah, but I mean, a bird doesn't know what it is the way we know what it is.
Strap some scarecrows on it, I guess. I don't know.
What they could do is there's... I don't know if you've ever been, but there's the occasional building where they have like a repeating like noise that bothers birds, so they don't want to come close to that.
Or maybe they could make it like a fan, like you have, like a desk fan where it has a little cage around it, so you just stick your fingers in it. Just make a really, really big cage for the wind turbine, and then they can't fly into it. But yeah, as far as the super chat, that's very recent. It's only because I finally hit 1,000 and was remonetized that it's there. I don't really talk about it because, like I said, it's not really necessary when the chat moves. And today's chat's doing pretty well, so thank you for that. But even when it's moving pretty well, it's not so fast that I can say like, well, make sure you click on that button to do a super chat so we don't lose your message. Even though we missed them a few times, but we caught up. So
yeah. And Ozzy O asks, how about a breaking wind farm?
Well, wind doesn't break too much, but if it does break, we'll fix it. That's more around Boston where they like to eat all those baked beans. So, all right. So Mardi Gras has begun. Like I mentioned before, I should go out and shoot some. They have a lot of interesting stuff there this year. One of which is a mimosa bar. Now, I thought mimosas were strictly champagne or sparkling wine, because if it's not from that specific region in France, it's sparkling wine, but it's basically the same thing. Mm-hmm. But champagne and orange juice, I thought that was like the strict definition of a mimosa. But apparently you can also have unique flavors like caramel, apple, raspberry, rosemary, and mojito mint, and more. So in the... I'm forgetting the La Bamba. In that restaurant, they have an area where you can taste those different versions of mimosas in the park during Mardi Gras. And there's also king cake, appropriately because it's Mardi Gras.
And that's new this year.
It honestly looks like a cinnamon bun with colored sugar on top. We did get some in our team member grills.
Oh, okay.
As,
Yeah. I've tried one. Yeah.
And it was good.
Yeah.
A little more cinnamon for me, but maybe that's because it's not really supposed to be a cinnamon roll. It's similar to it. Maybe authentic New Orleans king cake only has a little cinnamon, and I was looking for a little bit more. And that's a preference.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've never been to Louisiana, so I don't know what makes it authentic.
But if you do come to Orlando or Universal during Mardi Gras, that French Quarter has unique food, kind of like what they do at Horror Nights, where they have unique food during Horror Nights. Like the Twisted Taters are out during Mardi Gras as well. They also have the king cake, which is new and only during Mardi Gras, and they have shrimp po' boys, which I don't think you can get any other time of year, and you can get some jambalaya and some crawfish. So that's another reason. Like pass holders will go to a park just for the food sometimes, and so it's also another reason to come up to Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
So first Ozzy says, does the super chat save kittens out of trees? And yes, it does, Ozzy. Yes, it does. But it doesn't wear capes, because capes get you in trouble.
Yes, no capes.
And,
so yeah, help us save.
Woo!
Oh, there you go. Wow, thank
you, Gino Me.
Well, you've just saved a cat.
Yeah. See, not all heroes wear capes.
No. So the pizza fries, I believe, are only for Halloween Horror Nights, but you never know. I mean, they do experiment with a lot of things, and they do bring them in for other events. Like the waffle on a stick was originally just Halloween Horror Nights. Now it appears to be all year round. I'm surprised. I thought they were going to add Mardi Gras sprinkles to that to make it a Mardi Gras version of waffle on a stick.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, I have no idea if this is true. My guess is that all the food that they serve during Mardi Gras is authentic New Orleans style food, and waffle on a stick isn't authentic. So I believe that would be my guess why they don't do it, because it wouldn't fit into, like, people would come from Louisiana like, we don't have waffles on the stick. What?
But they do have jambalaya, and they do have crawfish.
Everything they do serve is authentic, so that probably it just wouldn't fit in. So
now Penelope Brandy asks, are we going to ride a float again this year? Or at least, are you going to ride a float?
I'm sure I will. I'm not sure exactly when. I know that sometimes a few times a year I try to ride with Jessica. She usually invites me.
Yeah.
Yes, there are people and dogs out there. Calm down. So I'm not sure when, but I probably will.
Yeah.
I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, I always like to ride the float. It's a fun thing to do, and I always like to see. It's funny because, like, when I was a scare actor, I was like, you know what, I'll go to the house.
Oh,
and
well, thank you, Brandy. You saved another You saved another cat. Unfortunately, it was the same cat. Just climbed back up the tree.
Yeah, you just can't help some cats.
Yeah. It enjoys the journey.
I do like to see, like, the events from both sides if I can. So I like to catch the beads, and I like to throw the beads, and then I like to scare act, and then
Stella.
I like to go through the house. It was funny. Like, I went through my own house. I went through Solid Cinema, and I was doing everybody's scare. Like, you know, as the guest on the guest side, I was doing like.
Is that Stella?
Yeah.
Oh, that's her.
Okay. Shh. It's okay. It's all right. Shh. And it was funny, and like the people behind me, like when we came out, they're like, "You're amazing. Are you like some sort of super fan or something?" Like, I'm just a big fan.
Yeah.
We've been coming here 8 years. It's all right. They were so impressed with me that I was doing everybody's scare. I just want to take a second for Gino Me. He says entertainment helps in life, and he just wants to help back. Thank you very much.
You. And I've said many times before, it's probably too often that
Stop it.
when I go to California this year, that's going to be pretty pricey. So I definitely appreciate that, and I'm looking to upgrade the lighting here a little bit more as well, and microphones, things like that. So that'll help. Looking to maybe put a resin coating on
Stop it.
this desk to make it a little bit nicer. So we'll look for that in the future. Just quick side note: I went with glossy black because, you know,
Yeah,
it
the
looks kind
dog
of
wants to
cool.
be part of the show too.
But what do you guys think about the desk? Is black look good, or is it too kind of yeah? So it's going to be a few months before I can afford to to upgrade the coating on it. But
Oh,
problem is
shh.
anything I put on it, because it's paint, it it destroys it. So I went with a semi gloss just because I thought it would look cool. So
So first off, hi, uniquely universal.
oh hey,
Um,
yes, you did finally catch us.
and
We run very fast, but you finally caught us.
so he's the official first to come in. He says this looks good, and I agree. I like the color of this.
I was thinking like maybe a complementary color to what's back there, but I didn't want to make it too crazy and colorful either. So they make a resin. You've seen it before, most likely, and it's popular in restaurants. They'll put like newspapers or their menu, or maybe the menu changes, but theming with like paper or something like that on the table, usually like a wooden table, and then they pour a plastic coating over it, and so it makes it durable.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with paint is, like I said, everything sticks to it. But for now, a cheap quart of paint, and this is a piece of wood that I've had for a little while. From when I built, you can't really see it, but I built the stage that we're sitting on out of it, and it was just some spare that I had sitting around, and I was like, oh, I'll put it to good use. And I'm still hoping to have some guests, so I made a nice round television style table, because like I said, I'm trying to develop this into more of a talk show. But getting back to what you were talking about in the French Quarter for Mardi Gras, this year they have a new tasting lanyard, which is you can try all these different items in the same night, or if you come back multiple nights, which you should, you can spread it out as much as you want. So for $30, you can get 5 items. For 10 items for $50, and if you're an annual pass holder, there's an exclusive one for 15 items for just $10 more. So that's $60 for stuff. Really, could you please?
I'm trying. She's old. Can you stop? Be quiet.
So $60 is a lot for tasting, but when you consider that it's only $50 for 10 items, that extra 5 items for $10 is not too bad. But you have to be a pass holder. I don't know what taxes and fees might be added to that, but those are the prices that we have. Good question, Ozzy. Mardi Gras is not like Halloween Horror Nights. You do not need to have a separate pass. It's a more like I think Rock the Universe is kind of like this. I can't think of, or when they had it, the Celebration of Harry Potter. It's something that if you have park admission, that you are able to just come and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are blockout dates for passes and certain levels of annual passes. So make sure you check your blockout dates if you have an annual pass. But as long as you have admission to Universal Studios Florida on the day of Mardi Gras, you can go. Now, the only times that you really have to worry about blockout dates is certain concert nights,
Mm-hmm.
which
are Saturdays and some Sundays.
Yeah, certain concerts are blocked out, so I believe you're blocked out for the entire day. But most of the time, if you have an annual pass or whatever, you can get into the park. You're good. They have during the day, they have the stilt walkers and the performers that are in the parade walking around a bit like the Superstar Parade, and they have bands directly from New Orleans. They just pull up in a van. People jump out, grab them, and they tell them that to get back to. No, I'm just kidding.
It's kind of like the Purge. If you ever watch
Yeah.
the
And
Purge.
they tell them if they want to see New Orleans again, they have to play at Universal. I just when I say directly from New Orleans, it just for some reason that's where my mind goes. But they do bring street performers in during the day, and they I think around 4 o'clock is when the French Quarter opens,
Yeah.
and they have these bands out in the street playing, and they have the performers out there dancing. And it's a really good time, and then they have the parade. The time for the parade I can't really say because it changes based on the night, but it's near the end. And on top of that, there is the Universal Cinematic Celebration, which is in the lagoon. That is projections, music, and some pyrotechnics as well. So I haven't seen any yet, but there's only been one. This guy did.
I did. So
I really hope
yeah,
that she's not.
will you stop? Marlo, be quiet, please. Shh. I know. There's things going on out there, but it's okay, right? I know. She's trying to tell me that hey, something's going on out there. I know, Marlo. I know. Yes, I know. Okay. So yeah, I went to see Collective Soul 2 years ago, and then I saw Bush.
Yeah.
This past Saturday.
Was it George Senior or George Junior?
Actually, neither.
Or Jeb?
It was neither of them. It was the old band Bush from like big in the early '90s.
They were here last year too.
Yeah. Now, interestingly, I wasn't.
Was everything Zen, Brian?
I don't think so.
Oh.
But I never was that crazy about Bush. I was big on the grunge era. Like I liked Nirvana and Soundgarden and Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains and the Stone Temple Pilots and the Smashing Pumpkins and etc.
Yeah.
Green River, Mother Love Bone, blah blah blah. I heard Bush. I wasn't crazy about him, and I did like everything Zen kind of. I didn't like the Chemicals Between Us that much. I didn't really like Glycerin. But I was like, all right, I'll go see Bush. It'll be all right. And, if it sucks, I can just leave. I'm not losing anything. They actually were pretty good live. They really were. They heavied everything up. There was a lot of guitar feedback, which I was happy about.
That's like, well, I have no way of proving that wrong, so I'll go with that.
Yeah. They played Glycerin, and Glycerin has those orchestra strings and all that. There wasn't any of that. It was all guitar feedback, and it was kind of heavied up, and it was actually pretty cool to see them. And then, toward the end of the show, Gavin went into the crowd, and like the rock star thing, they crouch there for a minute and come back. No, he went into the crowd and he did a lap around Music Plaza. He went down the left. Went down the right, and he walked right past me. I was in the middle of the crowd. He walked right past me, and there was a kid, let's say 16, 17, with his parents who listened to Bush, and so he was into Bush, and so he was kind of Instagramming or live streaming or whatever they do these days.
I hope they got a shot of the sign that says "Don't do that."
But he was doing this, and it was all shaky camera stuff. He's like, oh,
yeah.
And he saw Gavin, and then he did his face, like, ah. And so I was hi Myrtle. Yes, you want to be on camera? Is that your problem? Here, look right there. So I'm happy. I went to go see Bush. It was a really good concert.
Yes, I'm here too, Marlo. Good job. I don't think I actually went to see any concerts last year, but being that I work in the same department that handles the crowds, besides obviously security and health services, I worked a few of them. I worked the Beach Boys concert last year just because I wanted to say it. basically got paid to see the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
I mean, I never thought I'd get the opportunity to ever say that. So I'm like, oh yeah, okay. And Stella's over there by the door because she wants to go OUT because she forgot to do her thing this morning. So I saw them. I think there was another one or two concerts this year. I'm really mostly looking forward to. Now I would never. Not Leonard Skinner. Steve Miller Band.
Yeah.
Steve Miller Band is not a band I would go out of my way to see and pay a lot of money, but they're playing at Universal. And like, hey, I'll go check it out. If they're like, oh, this is a little too old people for me, okay, I'll leave.
Yeah.
And Ziggy Marley is going to be kind of cool. Unfortunately, Ziggy Marley wasn't here on Bob Marley's birthday, which it just happened. But maybe he was doing something else, celebrating his father's birthday.
Yeah.
But this could be cool to see him live as well. So those are the only two that I really am interested in seeing, honestly. So, but yeah, Stella's over by the door because she wants to. She'll GOOT as soon as we're done.
Yeah.
She went out a little bit earlier, so I don't know what her boggle is.
Her boggle? How do you know about that?
I've seen that movie.
My boggle? Wait, how much do you weigh? Well, sir, I happen to weigh.
Yes. So on to Halloween Horror Nights 29, which is a little trip over to there. It's more monstrous than ever, Brian.
I bet it is.
And right now, you get a second night free when you buy one evening ticket. Of course, event ticket. I mean, purchase now between now and June 5th of this year, and vacation packages are already available because Halloween Horror Nights is closer than you think.
Mm-hmm. Actually, it's funny. My assistant stage manager for Slaughter Cinema, he works with entertainment all year, so I happen to see him occasionally work with the Marvel performers, and I work in Tune, so we occasionally cross paths. He said he just entered his application to be assistant stage manager or stage manager for this year's Horror Nights. He's like, it's funny. I ended the job like 3 months ago, and here I am applying again. And I'm like, when are auditions? He's like, maybe in April. I'm like, whoa,
but we can't say too much about it.
We don't know either. Like he put in his application. I haven't even heard about auditions. So
as far as Uniquely Universal, I did not work a house last year. I worked the event. So when you go early and are in the park during the day and have the stay and scream, the people who work those holding areas, I was one of those people this year. But this guy,
I was in Slaughter Cinema, Cast A. So it's two casts. It's Cast A, Cast B, and we alternate throughout the night. I was opening cast, so if you saw my house, like first thing you possibly saw me, I was the barber in Barber Chop.
Well, that's funny. We have a comment here that goes into my next note here about where to stay. The Endless Summer Resort Dockside will be open in July, so that will be available for the first time this year for Halloween Horror Nights. As far as Sapphire or where did that I just went away. Or Sapphire or Cabana. You like Cabana more than I do. I really like Sapphire. It's slightly pricier. Of course, we also really love Aventura. Mm-hmm. So if you might want to stay at the brand new Endless Summer, but that is a value resort. So you do get early park admission, but you're staying slightly off property, so that you have to take a bus to the. I mean,
you can
walk. It's just not. It just wouldn't be advisable. You can't, but we're not quite sure exactly how the buses are going to go. Obviously, being that it's not part of the continuous property
Mhm.
of Universal Orlando, that it's not possible for them to have a boat service. But most likely it'll be a bus, just like a Mears bus, like they have for
Mhm.
the other resorts. So we will find out very soon about that. Um, as far as Royal Pacific Resort, that is a very nice hotel. It was my favorite themed hotel until Sapphire Falls opened.
Yeah.
Now with a hotel like I think that's the premium hotels. I should know that. I forgot the three levels I have now. The advantage to that is you get early park admission plus you get daytime unlimited express
Mhm.
because the price, and you do also get complimentary admission to city walk venues. I don't know if that's for all of the hotels or if it's just the premium and mid-range hotels, but for some of them you do get that as well. So, and and we've said before, if you have two or three people in a room at one of the higher priced hotels at Universal and you were thinking about getting express already, the room almost pays for itself.
Yeah. And them throwing in express anyways is a good deal.
Yeah. And speaking of Portofino, that in September is going to be 20 years old.
Yeah.
Along with it was not, I forget the dates of, but the City Walk and Islands of Adventure are all three of those have their 20th anniversary this year. Obviously, they've renovated the Portofino since then. They've even recently added some new kid-themed rooms based on Minions, and I
Yeah.
believe that's where they have the Jurassic World rooms. But they're all great resorts. I don't like the Portofino as much. It is their highest end resort though.
Mhm.
So yeah, that the Dockside, and then Surfside is the other hotel, which is going to be huge. I didn't realize until recently. I was looking at some of their mock-ups. It's going to be a very large resort, and it's going to be a tiny bit more expensive, but still affordable.
Mhm.
And that will be opening next year at some point, and it's going to increase the amount of rooms that Universal has by a lot. And it's going to be a point where early park admissions is going to get crazy, but they have the 6 hotels now, and
Yeah.
it's still there are times of the year where it is pretty crazy, but not too crazy. So it's still a good value. Now, if it's on the Universal side, I believe the current thing is you get the early access to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and also it's changed. It was Minions, Minion Mayhem, and it was the Mummy, Revenge of the Mummy at some point. And then if it's on the Islands of Adventure side, I believe it's just the Wizarding World of Harry Potter for the first hour. So you're guaranteed access to those areas an hour before the park opens. So that's another great benefit. Uh, yeah, time flies. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
It's funny. It doesn't feel like 20 years, but yeah, it's been
No.
since all of that opened in 1999.
And as far as the pools go, if you have time, we never did. If you're there long enough, if you stay in any of the on-site hotels, I'm assuming this is extending to the new Endless Summer Resort. We haven't heard either way, but if you stay at any of the on-site hotels, you have access to any of the amenities at any other Universal hotels, and the majority of them are connected through the water taxi system. If you are staying at Aventura, you can walk right next door and get on the boat at the Stella. Calm down. It was your fault you didn't go when you walked this morning. You can get onto the water taxi there. It's a little bit more of a walk from Cabana Bay, but I know we have a Cabana Bay fan in the chat room somewhere, Ozzy. He likes to stay there, which is great.
Yeah.
It's a good value, and you get all those benefits of staying on site as well. And it's a little bit further than the other ones, but you're still very close.
And that's the thing about the hotels is they all have their own theme. So whichever you seem to like more, you know.
What's the best and worst part of for Halloween Horror Night? A job for Halloween Horror Nights. I've only worked 2 jobs at Halloween Horror Nights, and you've only worked 2. The first was the same job, so I don't know if I've worked enough variety to really answer that. But sometimes being an attendant was not great, but it wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
And being in the event side of it, moving all those barricades is not fun. But other than that, it wasn't bad.
Well, when I was attendant,
Calm down, Stella.
when I was an attendant for Horror Nights 26, I was in Ghost Town, the Crystal Lightning Gulch, and that's when they were still building Jimmy Fallon Race through New York. So I don't know how to describe it, but it's not barricades, but it's a piece of fence with that black cover on it. We had to set up all of those, all the way behind Fallon, up to where that kind of movie theater is. Over, like, when you go to Horror Nights and you go past that, kind of looks like a movie theater. It says, Universal Orlando welcomes,
You mean Downstage 33?
Yes, but they don't know it's called Soundstage 33. Yeah.
Basically, they were working on the ride, and they didn't want people walking backstage and seeing into it, so they had to block it out so people couldn't take pictures of it.
I think we had to set up and break down upwards 100 of those things. So it's these like little yellow things where you stick the fence
the
into. Yeah, the feet. And yeah, that was not fun.
And because they were working on the attraction, they had to have the fences gone so they can work on it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, oh, well, it was a bummer, but we only put it up once.
Now, me being park services, I've never worked park services for Horror Nights. I don't imagine that being that much fun. It shouldn't be that bad, but
yeah. And yeah, one of the consolation prizes is Cabana Bay is you're right there, like not even going across under the tunnel. Now, it was an exclusive, but now that Aventura is there, you can walk to Cabana Bay, but you go to the bus drop off and then you go under the tunnel, which is not much fun. Man, Stella, would you calm down? She really has to go.
We'll take you in a minute, okay? All right.
She went out earlier. I don't know why she didn't poop. So, you have seen people properly freaked out.
Yeah.
I haven't really. I mean, a lot of people go around screaming and running and stuff. So I guess that, yeah, especially in scare zones, they go running. But
I've got a couple freak out stories that, well, one, I guess the most appropriate or the most recent is, so me being opening cast for Slaughter Cinema, that first time we're scaring is called being on set. It's the only Stay and Scream crowd because we're one of the Stay and Scream houses. So it hasn't been open to the general public yet. It's not yet 6:30, so the gates haven't been opened. So it's just Stay and Scream's crowd, and it can be pretty light. Like some people can come through that by themselves. Like it's not like just a line of people. So it was pretty early. And I see this lady coming through. She's kind of, and so I'm kind of peeking around the corner, because I don't want them to see me. I want to kind of give the element of surprise. So I kind of peek around the corner a little bit, and then I see him coming. So I step back, I wait, kind of time it, and I hit my trigger. Now my trigger, if you all know, was the most common was a little off the top, but at first, it goes, when I first hit it, it goes, ha! So it was like, ha! A little off the top. I didn't even do my scare. I did not even do my scare. I hit my trigger. This lady hers, ha! She bolted through my room. Ran all the way through my room. after our first set, our assistant stage manager likes to have a meeting with us and get us ready for the night, and just tell us about news and stuff like that. He gathers us all together. We have our cast meeting.
Bye, Uniquely Universal.
Oh yeah, take care. Have a good night.
Thanks for joining us. I'm glad you can make it. Was 5 o'clock better for you than 6? Just let me know, please.
So the first order of the business was I think you guys may have seen a lady coming through herself, looking pretty freaked out, and we're like, yeah, and I was like, I didn't even do my scare. She heard the first noise and ran through the room, and the Yetis, who are the last room, they said like she just like ran out of there, like she came through the room already running. The assistant stage manager said she was doing never alone again, never alone again, never alone again.
Yeah, I think I don't know how they would work it in, but and maybe they already have. But it would be funny if one of the rooms in one of the houses was the Congo, dun, 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 because so many people do the skip, dun, dun, dun. But getting back to what Duchess said, one of the things that is a bummer about staying all the way over on the other side with Portofino or Hard Rock is that you do rely a lot more on the buses, and the buses. I've spent quite a bit of time waiting for a bus to Volcano Bay, so that is a bummer. The plus side, like I said, you do get the Unlimited Express, which is a great value. So you stay at one of the more value, either Aventura or Cabana Bay, and you save a bunch of money. But you don't get the express, but you are close to Volcano Bay, so that kind of balances it out. So just want to throw that in there before that message goes away and I forget.
But we do have some feedback. Duchess said earlier the better. 5 is 10 o'clock for her, and I think it's about the same time for Brandy. I think Brandy's in the same time zone, or maybe 1 hour earlier.
Yeah. I was originally thinking like, oh, well, doing it a little bit later so that the sun goes down and doesn't interfere with the video. But, there are curtains. So, so, and sometimes it gives me a little more time to set up because sometimes I'm busy the day before. But it looks like 5 o'clock. We might even try, if you are able to, maybe try 4 o'clock next in the future. But yeah, thank you for that because we kind of have to guess. So without feedback, we don't know which direction is better. Wednesdays, even though it seems like everything is starting to pile up on my Wednesdays, is better for us because it's the only time we have the that's what I thought.
Wait, I thought we had a couple UK watchers.
Phenomenal is not one of them.
Okay.
But so let's see. And getting back to Legoland really briefly, they are doing something new this year. They just sent an email with their whole thing all the way to Christmas. I was like, well, can we have summer first, please? But just to let people know, they're doing something new this year, which is the Lego Movie Days, which is coming up in July and August. It's a little bit, from what I understand, a little bit like the celebration of Harry Potter, which I don't know if we're going to see that come back, unfortunately.
Yeah,
it's something that I thought they wouldn't get rid of, but then they did for this year. But it's a much smaller scale. Obviously, they don't have any celebrities coming out, but it still looks like it's pretty cool. So when that happens, it's going to be July 13th to the 14th, the 20th, the 20th, and the 21st. 27th and 28th of July, and in August the 3rd and the 4th. I didn't look that up, but those sound like weekends. Because they're 2 days at a time. So obviously
Legoland likes to do that. They like to do their events on weekends,
which makes sense. Obviously when that comes up, I'll head out there and show you guys that. So that's that, and they've already announced the dates for things like Brick or Treat and stuff like that. So, looking forward to that. Those are always awesome. There is a 5K run. I believe, if I read that correctly, that shake of the camera was from Stella. Thank you. is the only thing that isn't included with your admission, if I understand correctly. But everything else at Legoland, Brick or Treat, it's not like Not So Scary or Halloween Horror Nights or Hollow Scream. If you have admission to Legoland, you have access to all of these things. So
most of the
cool.
things. The treat trail is meant for 12 and under.
No, I'm saying it's not an extra charge.
Oh yeah.
So you have access to it. You can't go on it. You're not. The rules is that it's for a certain age, but there's no extra charge for that. Just like Mardi Gras at Universal.
Yeah. So Ozzy asks, "What's the age of 10 dream job?" And for me personally, it would be working Horror Nights Creative.
Yeah.
Which would mean I would be behind the scenes, like trying to acquire the rights to the different houses, or giving ideas for the original houses and the original streets.
Designing.
Yeah, designing, doing the concept art, writing the story, and setting up the characters and all that. For now, Brandy would be the VIP guide, especially the one who gets to do the lights.
Oh yeah. The behind the unmasking the horror.
Yeah.
Those you have to know like everything.
Yeah.
Everything about Halloween Horror Nights, like to the craziest detail. Which, I mean, not saying that's a bad thing. It's a good thing because when you pay all that money for it, they know so much.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So I think it's working entertainment tech for me, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds cool too.
Yeah.
But although I have a problem with heights, just going into the houses and setting up the lighting in the houses and the lighting on the outside and we're like, walking through the scare zone, like, cool, I got to do that. That would be one of the top jobs for me for Halloween Horror Nights, and that starts really early. Because they
before we get to that comment, which is a good comment, I want to say, like, as a character, what you were talking about with the lighting.
Yeah.
I've stood in position, and before anything happened, I was just kind of looking around and stuff, and just watching the way the lights work and how they mix together to create the atmosphere of the house, and I think it's really cool.
Want some more coffee?
Yeah. So Phenomenal Brandy asks, "Am I going to purchase a prophetic T-shirt again to predict an IP?" Which worked out.
Well, we can't tell you right now. That's a proprietary. That's proprietary information that Brian is not privileged to release until the tea leaves are read.
Yeah. And she also has another comment. How about the person that picks the smells of the house?
How should it smell? I'm thinking Teen Spirit.
Now, you may have heard, doing Unmasking the Horror, but professional smell tester. Yeah, that would be a good one.
Well, I mean, they are professional tasters.
Yeah.
So sure.
So if you have done Unmasking the Horror, then you may have heard that Universal works with a company that makes air fresheners and stuff like that. You can purchase very weird scents like burnt forest or dead body or what were some other ones? Like they're very unusual smells. And used for things like this, like for Halloween parties or something, or I guess if you were kind of weird, you could scent your house like that if you so desired. But so I guess like Horror Nights Creative works. Like, okay, well, like for example in Scary Tales, when you went through the Hansel and Gretel room, like there was that very strong barbecue smell, like that's all part of it.
So just laughing at the I'm pretty sure I've seen video of a pro smeller taster guy that smells pits for deodorant companies.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that job's a pit.
I don't know how well that pays, but
I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
the
egg
egg
room.
room. I heard about that during a video that they had released. I think they were over in California talking about it. I went to that room. I never smelled it.
I didn't either. Phenomenal Brandy, I guess, got a good whiff of it because
Yeah.
she said the egg rooms smell like, and she's got a bunch of like sick faces. Yeah,
Yeah, well, it was supposed to. I never noticed it.
yeah.
But before somebody loses their ability to wait to relieve themselves here, one more important thing that is this week is the 20th anniversary of the movie Office Space,
Yeah.
which was a really amazing movie. I didn't catch it in the theaters because I didn't even know it was a thing. But there was a thing called Blockbuster Video back when it was still operational, and I used to just go and look at the new releases and just basically if it's something even looked interesting, I would rent it. And I saw this cover of a guy covered in basically post-it notes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, what's this? And then I said, Mike Judge, the creator of Beavis and Butthead. I'm like, yep, I'm definitely taking that home tonight. And it turned out to be an amazing movie that unfortunately did not do very well in the box office because it's just one of those victims of Stella, calm down. That's not going to make Stella. That's not going to make it better. Unfortunately, it was a victim of marketing. They didn't know how to market, I think.
It also was a victim of the lineup of the movies that year. Like 1999 was an amazing year
Phenomenal.
for movies.
Brandon.
So like it kind of got lost in the shuffle of like a lot of really good movies.
And then the Star Wars movie.
Well, which people were hyped about, but yeah, The Phantom Menace, Fight Club, Office Space.
Yeah. And then speaking of movies that weren't marketed well, Fight Club was a phenomenal movie that people just didn't know what to make of it.
Yeah.
Almost done. So you might not have known this because I didn't know this until recently that Michael Bolton appeared on a Funny or Die video playing the character of Michael Bolton in the movie. And because they made fun of him, they just randomly called a character Michael Bolton. And like, is that your real name? Are you any relation to the pop singer?
And then there's the whole bit about the business consultants coming in, and he's like, wait, Michael Bolton? And he's like, are you a fan of his music? Yeah. Oh, well, I love his whole catalog. For me, there's nothing better than when he sings When a Man Loves a Woman. And he's like, yeah, that's a good one.
And later on, he got upset. Like, he's like, I even sold my soul out by lying about liking Michael Bolton. So there is a 20th anniversary Blu-ray, and from what I can understand about it, it's the same Blu-ray that's been out for a long time. It just has a different sleeve on it. So that's unfortunate. I don't know why it would have been fun if they had put the Funny or Die video on there, but it was a third-party thing, or there was something else that would have been interesting. I forgot, but the 20th anniversary Blu-ray has been released. But like I said, from what I understand, it's not really worth buying unless you want to buy the movie. But it's not worth buying it for just that part. If you already have it, then there's no reason to get it.
The lead actor who played
the Bobs, yes.
Yeah, who played what was his name? The lead guy.
The lead guy.
The main character.
Now I forgot.
Well, he did an interview recently about Office Space, and it was like his first leading role, and he was glad he did it. And he said that Michael Bolton have obviously seen the movie and has a very good sense of humor about it. And
apparently he didn't like it at first, but obviously later on he's changed his mind because he appeared in a parody of it, or sort of a parody of it. And apparently the Madonna really loved the portray of was it oh no, I'm forgetting the name. It wasn't. I think it might have been Michael Bolton.
Okay.
The character. So that was kind of a random thing.
Yeah.
But overall, it is it was a really great movie. Now he tried uh, making Extract, which is another movie based on mundane things, but it didn't quite work for at least I didn't believe so. That's Mike Judge, that is.
Mhm.
And they actually offered him the chance for a sequel, Peter.
Peter, yes. The actor who played Peter.
How's it going, Peter?
That'd be great.
Yeah, if you can just put that in the chat, that'd be great. And it's based on a Saturday. That's what I was trying to think of. It was based on a Saturday Night Live skit, which is a short, really rough animation, and
No. Liquid Television.
Everything I saw was Saturday Night Live, but maybe it was. You sure?
Well,
one of them is wrong.
Mike Judge started. All right, so way back in the
Beavis and Butthead was on Liquid Television,
yes,
but I don't know if Milton was on.
Milton did, I think. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was SNL because I don't remember it being on Liquid Television. I used to watch a lot of Liquid
Beavis and Butthead was.
Yes,
but it has to be a rights thing. It would have been awesome if they included the original sketch or sketches in the 20th anniversary edition, and for all we know, they might have tried and they couldn't get the rights because it's owned by NBC. But that would be great. I have not seen Idiocracy. Have you?
Yes, and Idiocracy has become pretty legendary now because all right. So the basic plot is it's a guy who's in the military. He has a desk job and he's of average intelligence, like pretty much completely like in the middle average intelligence. He's not too smart, not too dumb.
Yeah,
he's just an average guy. He's got a desk job and he volunteers for a program where he will be put into cryostasis and he will wake up in a certain amount of years and yes, that's the big joke right now is that Idiocracy is a documentary and it's happening now. So due to a mistake, he and the female both like their building was demolished and they both like went into a landfill and they woke up like 500 years in the future, and through breeding, where the most intelligent people did not breed and the less intelligent people were doing a whole lot of breeding, humanity has now bred itself stupid. The average IQ is like under 70, and so like most people are like just dumb, and he is now the smartest person on the planet. And so when he tries to talk to people, he's using like intelligent words, and everyone's like, and they think he sounds all pretentious, and
yeah,
it's pretty funny.
Even though it doesn't make sense, because if he's cryogenically frozen and thrown in a landfill, there's nothing that would continue that state, and he would have thought out.
The pod he was in was self-contained. It worked on its own, so yeah.
So they shopped at the Plot convenience store. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, where he wakes up and he's now the smartest person alive. And yeah, like I do it at work. It wasn't Gatorade. It was Bronzo. I was drinking like something, or somebody was drinking something, and like it's got electrolytes, and then I didn't even expect it. They immediately was like, it's what plants crave, and so yeah, like that's how dumb humanity is. Like the corporations became like super corporations because they, at the highest levels, they were all automated.
Oh,
so like a sports drink became replaced water.
Oh.
So like all the farms and crops were being watered with a sports drink. And so like they're like, well, there's not growing. Well, maybe if we put water, you mean like out of the toilet? No, just because like yeah, water fountains and like anything, like that's all people had was like sports drinks. So he's like, well, let's just try it. All right. But no, it's got electrolytes. It's got what plants crave. Well, let's just try water. So the crops grew, but then Bronzo's stock just went down. It like plummeted, and like most of the people worked for Bronzo, so like there was a riot about that. So yeah. Oh, Brondo, yeah, Brondo, not Bronzo.
Yeah. All right. Well, before Stella explodes.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for chatting today. Thank you for all
very active chat room, which is nice to see.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that in a while. So, again, should we skip in 2 weeks and go to 3 weeks, or just kind of figure out something later? But March is looking pretty full for us on Wednesdays. So just leave a comment either here or in the chat room, or when it goes on video demand. Just what your preference is, if you have a preference, and that will do it for this episode of Dave and Brian Live. Just also remember there's a bit of a delay in the chat room, so if we don't respond to one of your messages at the very end, it's because we see it only after we end the stream. So
take care,
thank you
everybody.
for watching, thank you for commenting, and thank you for the super chats, and thank you for saving the trees, the cats in the trees.
Yeah, the cats in the trees.
So goodbye.
Bye.